It's the most wonderful time of the year, college football bowl season, baby. And there are 42 bowl and playoff games to keep us entertained for almost 3.5 weeks. Starting with Toledo versus Middle Tennessee State and going through the national championship on Monday, January 10th, pick your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper and get every college football bowl game they release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35 for the low price of $149. As an added bonus, make sure to download the free WagerTalk College Football Bowl Guide by going to wt.buzz/rm. From everyone at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, good luck this college football bowl season.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. It is December 13th. It's a Monday. I am Lawrence Presman. That man is Teddy Covers. And we got Marco and Brian on today. Like usual on Mondays, Marco's going to look at tonight's football game. Also, Sacramento and the Raptors, Cleveland State and Oklahoma State. And Bryan Leonard's going to come on Heat, Cavs, Warriors, Pacers, Grizzlies, 76ers. It's a lot of NBA today and a lot of Teddy's bad beats. I had a monster of a Sunday, everyone. 4-1. Won my 5% play. Almost went 5-0. Browns. But I'm sure Teddy will talk about the Browns right now. Teddy!
Yeah. This Monday, we need to open up with bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books, because it was one of those days in the NFL yesterday where there were a lot of games that made people pretty crazy. Let's start with bad beats. And what do we call a bad beat? It's a right side with the wrong result. There were a couple pretty bad ones yesterday. Of course, I was on the wrong end of both after Prez has his monster day. Great. Good for you, Prez. Not me. Browns are up 24-6. They missed a 41-yard field goal, and yes, feel the momentum shifting. Oh, by the way, they knocked Lamar Jackson into the game. So the Browns are up 24-6, facing a backup quarterback and a defense that has no one in the secondary. And then what happened? Justin Tucker hits a 50-yarder. He hits a 55-yarder. The key thing in the entire point spread was Baltimore missing the 2-point conversion down 9, which means the Cleveland was very content to let them dink and duck down their way down the field in a 2-score game. And, of course, in doing that, in the fourth quarter, the Ravens convert 4th and 11, 4th and 6, 4th and 1 on the fourth quarter TD drive. Needed all 3 of those, and they end up losing the game by 2. Cleveland laying minus 2.5, up 24-6. No good. Tough beat if you had the Browns. What about the Bears? Plus 11.5. They lead at halftime. After a pick 6, they give up a defensive score, and they're still up. They're double-digit dogs. The second half, I don't even know what to say. The Packers had the muff punt called back on a dicey penalty. The Bears a half-yard short on 3 straight third downs. They punted every time. They get in the scoring range, down 18. They kick a field goal. And then they recover the onside kick and score a touchdown. And you go crazy, but you can't advance the onside kick, and they get stopped on downs. Pretty tough beat if you had Chicago plus the points yesterday. I don't know what to call Washington Dallas, because Washington wasn't a right side. But they get the pick 6 with 4 minutes left, plus 6.5. Missed extra point after the pick 6 equals a 7-point loss, not a 6-point loss. That's brutal. And then it lands 27-20. Dallas laying 6.5. The game total, 47.5, 48. The missed extra point, a big ouch both ways, side and total. That was tough if you had Washington, even though they weren't the right side in that one. And, of course, let's not forget the Buffalo Bills. They were down 24-3. They were on the right side. But Buffalo looks like they have a chance to win the game. They settle for 3 in the final drive, and then they give up a touchdown in overtime on a cornerback fail. The Bucs only needed a field goal to win it, plus 3.5. They were driving to kick the game-winning field goal. Oh, goodness. And then they get the big play, TD, and that wasn't much fun for underbettors either. That was 24-10 with under 8 minutes to play. Under 15, 2.5, no good. There were some people saying that Cincinnati was a bad beat. They were unbelievably frustrating if you had the Bengals. Yeah, I had them yesterday. But they weren't a bad beat. 2 muffed punts for Cincinnati was the difference in that one. Of course, they led in overtime, and they gave up the game-winning score. Bad bets. There weren't that many of them yesterday. You know, there was under money for the Chiefs-Raiders. Vegas didn't get to 10. It still flew over the total, 48-9 final. Bettors got some back. big steam on the second half under of that ball game. Stayed under. The wise guys bet the Jets +6 down to +4.5. Saints win and cover. That Taysom Hill late touchdown scamper instead of sliding didn't matter. Side or total. Books that cater to Sharps clean up. Books that cater to Joe's didn't. And same story with the Titans Jags. Sharp money on Jacksonville with the public all over Tennessee. So that wasn't a great result. I'm calling it bad for the books, but really it's only bad for a handful of books that cater to the pros. Bad for the books. Look, nobody bet the Texans. All Seahawks money. That was bad bets. I'm sorry, above. Nobody bet the Texans. It was all Seahawks money. Lions, COVID outbreak. The pros and the Joes all over Denver. -8.5 up to -13. They won 38-10. And, of course, my pros versus Joes tweet. I do this every Sunday morning. Say, this is what I'm seeing, the sharp square divide. Well, this is what I said for yesterday. The Joes are betting the Titans, the Chargers, the Saints, and the Packers. That would be WWWW. Win all 4 games on my pros versus Joes tweet. Cash for the public. It doesn't tend to be a great day for the house. So there you have it, Prez. Some bad beats, some bad bets, and some bad for the books. A little recap on a Monday morning.
Teddy covers. I think you missed 2. I'm going to quickly discuss them. Firstly, the total in the Cincinnati San Fran game. It was over 47. It moved all the way up to 49. That was a tough one. And the worst beat in a long, long time happened yesterday. Not just over the weekend. Lewis Hamilton in Formula One.
Hamilton lost, yeah.
Teddy, he led the race from start to finish. There were 3 laps left in the race. He was up 11 seconds on Max Verstappen. There was an accident. They called out the flag. It allowed all of the cars to bunch back up together. There were 3 cars in between Hamilton and Verstappen. The race was over. And for the first time in a long while, the race organizer decided to allow the 3 cars between them to move around the safety car, putting the 2 right next to each other. Verstappen had made a pit change during that situation, got brand new tires, and with about half a lap to go on his new tires, overtook Hamilton for the win. It was a gripping race. I rode the Peloton for most of it, so I got healthy while watching it. But that was just a crazy beat for anybody betting Lewis Hamilton to win the race or to win the World Championship. Teddy, if there is any man out there who needs chicken wings, it is Marco D. This man started the day on Cleveland, then had his entree on Cincinnati, and somewhere along there was another one. Marco, what was the third that was a disaster? Buffalo. Oh, my God. Marco, you must have lost your mind, man. Firstly, Cleveland was a brutal loss. All 3 of us were on Cleveland. Teddy had them as a 5%. Just disgusting. Look, Buffalo's interesting because they were out of it all game. But in the same regard, once you get to OT and then they get the ball to start, you're thinking 3.5 is good. And I can't get there with Cincinnati. They were just they weren't. You
didn't watch the game if you thought they were the wrong side. You didn't watch the game.
You're right.
Cincinnati was not the wrong side of that game. They screwed up a bunch, but they weren't the wrong side.
Well, and I did not watch that game, although I will watch it later tonight because I watch every game. Anyway, Marco D'Angelo, welcome to the show. We love having you. I'm sorry about your day of losses, but more than that, just your day of brutally bad luck.
Well, can I add one more bad beat to Marco's day? It was like the final nail in the coffin. And I was like, a 6-year-old throwing a tantrum. I went to the Knights game last night. And normally after the game, the wife and I would stop, get something to eat, stop at a bar, restaurant, whatever. but I had a show to prepare for today. So I had to come home, get the games ready for the show. So we will through Freddy's Steak Burgers drive-through. I get home all ready to eat my double steak burger, pull my sandwich out. Oh, looks nice and great. Grab it. Oh, what's wrong on the bottom? I'm feeling meat. Some moron forgot to put the bottom half of my bun in my sandwich. That just, I like totally lost it because that was just the icing on the cake.
Wait, and I say this with love. Did that moron get a look at you before he elected to prevent you from eating more carbs?
Sure he did not, because I was through the drive-through, Prez, knowing where you're going with that. But yeah, that was the icing on the cake. The final bad
I
beat.
thought he was doing you a favor, bro.
No, not last night. I'm not in the mood for it.
I get it, man. And it was, listen, all three of your games just brutal, and Teddy, you as well, and Chicago and at the end there. You know, I thought they were gonna pull that out, and I had an amazing middle. You know, I had a 5% play up, 10.3 team teaser on the Chargers, Green Bay, and Tennessee. And in my analysis, I told everyone, if you get, Teddy, I'll get to you. If you get to the Green Bay leg, put a quarter of your bet on Chicago plus the points. So I was cheering for Chicago at the end there too, dude. What's your problem, Teddy?
You're talking about this 10-point teaser. If you give them a 3-team parlay, they'd have cashed 6-1 instead of 1-1.
I know.
Because they all cash.
I thought,
you know.
So
great,
if you read my analysis,
10 points in all three of those games, buddy. Well done.
Yeah. Well, if you read my analysis, I did suggest to people to take the spread as well. Anyway, so you're starting with me for winning my 5% play. Excellent. It's going to be a good show, Marco. Guys, it's $9 Mondays for everybody at WagerTalk. Make sure to take advantage of that. We got a lot of plays up. I have a 5% play for next week up, and I'm also in action tonight, only $9. Marco D, before we discuss what's going on with you, let's talk Monday Night Football. Rams at Arizona. Arizona -2.5. How are you betting this game?
Well, I'm going to be on the dog, and I know that's not worked out well so far this weekend in the NFL, but I'm going to give them a try here. And guys, you look at the Rams, they lost 3 in a row before last week's 30-point blowout over Jacksonville, and everybody's going to say, hey, you know, so what? That was Jacksonville. And that is true, but you know what? I'm going to use a horse racing reference. Sometimes you need to drop down in class and get that confidence-building win to get back on track, and that's what the Rams did last week. And when we're doing second meetings in the NFL, I always go back and look at the first meeting and say, was there something out of the ordinary with that first meeting? And I went back and I looked, and I keep notes, and I had a big play on Arizona that day in the first meeting, and Arizona took it to the Rams. I also put a note after that game, watch the Rams in the rematch, because the whole reason why I had Arizona in the first meeting was the fact that it was after week 3. Both teams were undefeated. One team was getting Super Bowl talk. The other team wasn't even getting discussed. And that was Arizona that wasn't getting discussed because they opened the season up with a couple patsies. And ironically, they were coming off a blowout of Jacksonville heading into the Rams game, whereas the Rams were the flavor of the month. That was the week after they took it to the Tampa Bay Bucks and Tom Brady, the defending Super Bowl champs, and everybody was printing those Super Bowl future tickets on the Rams. Fat and sassy. Yeah, that's what the Rams were in that game, and Arizona made their statement game. Now it's the Rams' turn. And if you look at these two teams, offensively, they're both top 5 teams in points per game. Rams are number 1 in yards per play, while Arizona is number 12. Defensively, the teams, Arizona, number 4 in points per game allowed, where the Rams allow a little more, 17. part of that's because of the turnover ratio they've been in some of their last few games. Arizona, 3-1 in their last 4 games, guys, but they've enjoyed a 9-2 turnover margin in that 4-game stretch, whereas it's been the opposite for the Rams. They've been in that 3-game losing streak, they were on the short end of a 7-2 turnover margin. I'm going to take the Rams in revenge tonight. This is a game I will have them straight. Also on the other show that I do bet on it, we gave this out last week. A teaser that's in play. We had Atlanta yesterday with the Rams tonight, finishing that up. So I like the Rams. I'll have them straight. I might look to hook the Rams up with a couple more teasers for this week's NFL because I don't see them getting blown out in this game. So give me the Rams tonight, Monday Night Football.
So it is a Rams team that has lost 3 of their last 4. And the finger's been pointing at Matthew Stafford. And watching Stafford, I agree with the fingers being pointed at Stafford. Are you worried at all? And I know the stats from last week are great. And Stafford, he appears to have quieted the critics for the moment. But in a matchup of Kyler Murray versus Matthew Stafford, where basically it's a pick-the-winner type of game, you want Stafford over Murray in that matchup?
I'm taking the team in general, the whole team. Yes, Matthew Stafford, especially the Tennessee game, Teddy. The Tennessee game, that loss was on his shoulders squarely. Those 2 interceptions he threw from the end zone were as bad as they could get. But, I think that last week is a confidence builder. Like I said, it was against Jacksonville. I get that. But, Arizona's defense has been good. But I still think they're vulnerable, and I think that they can get this job done. You've seen conference division games. Division games are played a different way. This is a must game for the Rams. They can't lose any more ground to Arizona, being that they already lost to them. And I like taking the road team in the second meeting if they lost the first one at home, especially given those circumstances. We didn't get the Rams' best effort that day. We get it here. And as far as Kyler Murray goes, yeah, he's played sensational. But, Teddy, he's still not 100% from the ankle injury. So, that curtails a little bit of what he can do. He did run it a few times in their last game at Chicago last week, which actually surprised me. I thought they would have kept him under wraps in a game that they just had to show up to win. But I don't see them getting the separation. The teaser is my insurance policy tonight.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone. You can find him at WagerTalk.com. Guys, Ron W. writes in the chat room, Prez is a nice egomaniac. I'm like the Ted Bundy of egomaniacs, guys. Like a gentleman serial killer. Yeah! Well, I don't even know where to go. Get rid of the word nice. I'm just an outright freaking egomaniac. Marco, Sacramento at Toronto, Raps suck at home. Plus 45, plus 4.5 for the Kings. Where are you going in this game?
Well, Prez, that's a great segue to me opening this one. This play is as much going against Toronto as it is going with Sacramento. Toronto's coming off a win over the Knicks in their last game, but more importantly, they've got another game on deck tomorrow night. They go to Brooklyn and play one of the premier teams in the league. This is a typical look-ahead spot. You've got a situation here. I don't want to lay points with a team that struggles offensively as much as Toronto does. In their last 7 games, they've only shot better than 42% twice, and they've only gone over 100 points in their last 7 games twice. Not the formula you want to be laying points with in the NBA. Sacramento's lost their last 2 games, but note those 2 games came after they played back-to-back games against the Clippers, and then they played on the road back-to-back nights. They played a shootout with Charlotte, and then the very next night had to travel from Charlotte to Cleveland and play a totally different style of basketball. Charlotte likes to go up and down the floor. Cleveland is a different style of offense, and Cleveland's playing some good basketball right now. So horrible spot for Sacramento. I think that gives us some added line value tonight. catching the 4.5. And then I got a couple stats here on Sacramento. Last 3 seasons, Sacramento's been a money maker if you blindly bet them as a road underdog. They're 40-24 against the spread blindly in all road games as a dog. But if you break that down and take them in road games, if they're coming off a game in which they played to an under, that number becomes 29-10 against the spread. I'm going to go ahead and take Sacramento with the points. I see this as a 1 to 3 point game either way. Doesn't surprise me, Sacramento to come away with the outright victory. Give me the 4.5 in Sacramento.
So, Marco, you're just going to remind me of every bad beat I took this weekend. I mean, it's like it's punch me here and then punch me there.
Marco, you're so mean.
Prez is like, you had a worse game. Or Marco, Prez is like commiserating with you because all your plays were bad beats early, whereas I got to string mine out and get one more on Sunday night when I'm trying to focus. I had a fun one on Saturday too with the Cavs and the Kings. Cleveland scores 81 in the first half. All right, 81. The in-game total is 25 points over. And the game was over at halftime. The Cavs didn't show second half, and the game ends up staying 3 points under as a result. But it was a complete no-show from Sacramento. Sacramento played no defense in that ballgame whatsoever from start to finish. They haven't played any defense since Rashawn Holmes got hurt. You bring up the Raptors. Funny, I too am looking to bet against Toronto at home. I've done that repeatedly over the course of the last week, 3 times. 0-3, and each one of them is a punch job, dude. One day, Giannis sits right before kickoff. The other day, the Wizards, who said, we're going to come out strong, they come out and get outscored 15-2 to open the game and lose by that margin. And then last time I had Toronto against the Knicks, and it was a comparable story where the Knicks had 6,000 chances to win the game, but couldn't overcome the slow start, and Toronto wins and covers. So the Raptors are playing better at home. Talk to me about these 2 factors. Sacramento's defense, non-existent. Toronto winning 3 times at home and covering all of those and taking my money every time. So, yeah, you're making me feel way better. Now that I got the football beats out of the way.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Teddy. I didn't realize, didn't want to poke the bear there with the Saturday one. I get it with Sacramento in the defense, and that's always a problem with them. But I'm looking at, when you're coming off of playing the Clippers back-to-back, and then you got a game with Orlando that doesn't play any defense either. You go up and down the floor, and then you've got Charlotte, another up-tempo team. That was a bad spot for Sacramento on Saturday night. And I wholeheartedly agree. Playing back-to-back nights, tired teams don't play defense. It was all there. It was a great handicap. It was a right side, wrong side, winner type deal.
Yeah,
there.
I know.
Bad beat. But
I got more.
Now they've had.
I didn't have that many plays last weekend. Okay, for the entire weekend. All right, I think I had 9 releases, maybe 8 releases. Not a ton. And at least 5 of them were bad beat losses. No joke.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my weekend.
Okay. Guys, welcome to Wager Talk today. It's officially Hug Teddy Day. Teddy, I'm hugging you, man. Put your right here, baby. Let it out. Just let it out. Okay. Marco, welcome to Hug Teddy Day. My God. Kara,
Hey,
where are you? Give your man a hug. Whoa. Okay, Cleveland State at Oklahoma State. I'm sure one of them had a bad beat in the last 3 days, and I'm sure Teddy was on it. But, Marco, real quick, bro, we're up against it. Let's go.
Hey, this one's easy because neither one's played in over a week, so no bad beats for Teddy or I involving these 2 teams. And Prez, this is a lot cheaper than $100 an hour therapy, okay? All right?
Yeah, you're right.
This weekend.
You're right.
I'm looking at Cleveland State here, and this is they've played 1 road game all year, and it was the first game of the season. And people are going to look and say, hey, well, the one time they were on the road, they got beat by 10 at BYU. Losing by 10 at BYU first game of the season, that's not that bad. That's a tough venue. This is a veteran ball club. Cleveland State brought back 5 player starters from last year. They're playing good basketball, and they play great defense. and I am going to ride that defense against Oklahoma State, who also plays good defense. Don't get me wrong. Both of these teams play well, but Cleveland State, with the veteran leadership, won't be intimidated going into Oklahoma State. And I'll throw a little stat at you with Cleveland State. They're 10-1 against the spread the last 3 seasons, following games in which 155 points or more were scored. That's an angle for Cleveland State. And here's an angle to go against Oklahoma State. Play against home teams who are favorite off an upset loss if they return 4 or more starters from the year before in the first 10 games of the season. This is an angle where a program is a little bit overrated maybe based on what they returned. And if you blindly did that the last 5 years in all of college basketball, 36-10 against the spread, that also tells us to take Cleveland State tonight. That's where I'm at.
Awesome stuff. Marco, one of our listeners writes, damn, Ted is always so serious. I've never called him Ted in my life. Is that a bit or is that just Teddy? It's just Teddy. Marco?
Oh, absolutely.
I have fun sometimes. I laugh. I have
Teddy. I'm not going to go there. It's Hug Teddy Mondays, everyone. Let's take a quick break. We're right back with Teddy's big bad bet beat breakdown. I don't know what's going to happen. And then, of course, Bryan Leonard and the daily presidential address. We'll be right back, everyone. Marco, thanks, brother. You're the best.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com, and all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
For today's big game breakdown, let's go to the association for Monday night and talk about the Hawks and the Rockets. I posted this line last night to do my big game breakdown this morning, and it was Atlanta minus 11.5. Then I rechecked it this morning. It was Atlanta minus 10.5, so I edited it. And now it's Atlanta. A lot of books are down to 9.5 for the Hawks. So I'm going to talk about the reasons why I like the Rockets tonight. The market's already there with Houston. And I mean, it all comes down to the same quote from Trae Young. And it's a quote that's like a month old now, but it stands out like a sore thumb for Atlanta. Quote, it's the regular season. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot more boring than the playoffs. You got to find that motivation to play. And that's been the problem for Atlanta basically all year. This is not a team that's excited about the regular season. This is not a team that's playing particularly good basketball. They've lost 4 of their last 6. The Hawks will get up for their big games. They're not necessarily going to get up for their lesser games. But, of course, coming off the Nets and the 76ers, is Houston a team they're really going to be fully focused on? I wouldn't count on it. And, of course, for the season, Atlanta, 33% against the spread, minus 7.5 or higher. This has not been their role. Meanwhile, here's a Rockets team that, since the 15-game losing streak, has done nothing but win games and cover point spreads. 8-1 against the spread their last 9, 0 double-digit losses during that span. They should get Eric Gordon back in the lineup this evening. There was some talk that they could get potentially Jalen Green and or Kevin Porter Jr. I don't know that either one's going to play, but there was some talk that they might in the betting markets with the money coming for Houston. Now we're saying maybe they will. Rockets continue to compete. Atlanta continues to fail as bigger chalk. The markets are right there with me. Take Houston plus the points. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Teddy, this just in. Atlanta hit a meaningless 3 from 70 feet, and you didn't cover that game.
That's not the way it's going to work, though. This is the way it would work in that instance, because the Hawks aren't the team that's going to shoot the 70-footer at the buzzer. All right. Because they're going to be winning if they cover, right? So those type of beats would come if you were the favorite and the dog chucks one up.
Yeah, except it wouldn't
different type of beat.
It wouldn't be as satisfying if it happened the way it never happens. Anyway,
yeah, but I didn't even get my last one. Dude, there's more. I mean, again, there's more of these.
We're moving on.
Let's bring in Brian.
We're moving on. Before we bring Brian in, Brian's in. So, Brian, you can join us on this chat. Couple of things in the chat room. I like to talk about what's going on in the chat room from time to time if it's good. One of our listeners asks, when do you know when to bet a team on the money line versus the point spread? Guys, Ralph Michaels was on last year. We did a deep dive into this conversation. I'm going to make it easy. I bet the money line on any game that's -2 or less. Real quick, Brian or Teddy, do you anything to add to that? Because it is an interesting question.
Well, every point spread, every point spread has a number that's supposed to be for the that's equal to the money line. So if you can get if the money line is -135 everywhere, and the line is let's say 2.5 everywhere, and you can get a -130, then you play the money line. You're getting the better percentage on that, and that's what I do. Unlike some of our handicappers who will use a -5 spread and give it out as a money line play,
Nope.
You shouldn't do that.
Bad play.
That's my opinion on that.
No, and you and I are on the exact same page there. I'll actually go to -140 versus a -2 to 2.5, but I won't go over the -140 spot. Teddy, a really great question. Anything to add to that?
Well, I'm just going to say there are conversion charts out there that Brian's talking about, how you convert money lines into point spreads. And Brian's concept of if you find a better money line than the point spread would indicate, that's what you play. If you find a better point spread than what the money line would indicate, that's the way you play it. So Brian's thought process on that makes a ton of sense, and I wouldn't talk anyone out of doing what we do, which is looking for that extra point or two of value or extra 5 cents of value, or wherever you find it, you put it in your pocket.
Yeah, Steve also mentioned Stafford 9-70 versus teams with winning records, and people are all talking, he hasn't beat a team that's 5 games over 500. He's only beat a few teams that are 4 games over 500. Guys, throw that shit out of the window. He was in Detroit. For Christ's sake, man. I mean, there's some incredible baseball starting pitchers with shitty-ass numbers because they played on shitty-ass teams. Anyway, not that I'm a Matthew Stafford fanatic, but just wanted to point that out. Bry, 3 NBA games: Heat, Cavs, Warriors, Pacers, Grizzlies, and 76ers. Let's start with the Heat. +4 at Cleveland. We know Teddy lost with Cleveland. We know he's upset. It's Hug Teddy Monday. How are you betting this game?
Let me just make 2 quick comments before we get to the game. Number one, the Buffalo Bills were not a bad beat. They never had the lead in the entire game. I know you expect them to kick a field goal in overtime, but I don't consider that a bad beat. Secondly, I'd like to welcome Teddy back. Teddy was sick last week. Teddy never misses time, and it's so great to have him back. And he's got his normal spunk, which is good. That means he must be feeling a lot better than he was last week. So I'm very happy.
I'm pissed off.
Now we'll talk some
physically
basketball.
feeling better.
There you go.
Okay, Brian, you got
talk-
Teddy Shaw. 8 minutes, Brian. Let's go.
9-2, our last 11 on this show. So let's try to get some more winners here. Small card today, so it's a little bit tougher. Miami. We're going to go with Miami here. Cleveland just went into Miami last week, blew them out on the road. That broke a 20-game road losing streak at Miami. Miami is 11-2 the last 13 against Cleveland. Miami has owned Cleveland. I love this Cleveland Cavaliers team. I'm from Cleveland. I love this team playing great, but right now I don't know if I trust them in this point spread range. Obviously, Miami still has their injury problems, and that's the concern. I love this Cleveland team. I just think this is a little bit out of their price range. So give me Miami here with that major revenge after being embarrassed by the Cavaliers just a few games ago. And we've got a couple more NBA plays that we like today also.
So, Brian, first I just want to say Matthew Stafford this year with the Rams, he has 2 wins over teams that are above 500. The Colts and the Bucks, that came back in week 2 and week 3. Since that time, I think they're 0-3 or 0-4 against opponents with a winning record. 0-4 against opponents with a winning record since that time. When we talk about a Miami Heat team without Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, how good? I mean, what is Miami right now? Are they bottom feeders without that duo, or are they a decent team? How do we price the Heat correctly without arguably their 2 best players, certainly 2 of their 3 best players?
Yeah, well, they get good play out of everybody on the team. They step up a little bit. This is a team, a workman's team, without those guys in the lineup. They come out and they give the best effort all the time. That's what I'm expecting to see out of them today. And yeah, you're missing your 2 best players. Cleveland, when Sexton went out, they thought they were going to have scoring problems. And the scoring been down a little bit, but the defense has been much better for Cleveland. I really like this Cleveland team. I just think 5 points is a little bit too much for them to lay in this one.
Bri, let's move to the Warriors -3 at Indiana.
I'll keep this nice and simple. Golden State Warriors so far this year, after a loss, and they did lose last time out against Philadelphia, they won by 21, 18, 22, and 31 points, and that included games against Phoenix and Brooklyn. This is a team that does not take losing very lightly, and they're going up against an Indiana team right now who's, they're talking about trading some of their players. This is a team that's underperformed all season long. You're getting them in close to a pickup situation at 3. That's a cheap number in my regards. I'll lay it with the Warriors here.
So let me ask you this, because I got Indiana right now as circled as a bet-on team all the way. A team that underachieved early, a team that's gotten healthy, a team that now has a little bit of positive momentum for the first time all year. And if you watched them play over the weekend, you saw a Pacers team that you couldn't play Indiana earlier in the year in these short point spread games, and you can right now. And it's a Warriors team coming off, I'm not going to say their biggest game of the year, but again, Golden State off one of these marquee matchups. Is this the spot to lay this price with them? Especially they got a second of back-to-backs in Madison Square Garden tomorrow. We were at all about the Warriors losing focus in this one. I know they've been great off a loss so far, but then again, we are talking about a team that's 3-3 in their last 6 games coming back to earth.
Well, they're coming back to earth only because they were so great before. I mean, nobody expected that to continue. And Indiana's got enough talent where you wouldn't expect their start to continue also. So that's why the line is only 3. If this game was played a week ago, the line's probably 5. So I think that you look at it one way, and I understand what you're saying. I look at it another way, and I think the line's cheaper than what it could have been a week ago. So I'll take Golden State in this one.
Awesome stuff, Bri. Grizzlies and 76ers. 76ers was the bane of my existence last week. How you betting this one?
I'm not sure I know who the Grizzlies are. I know who the Grizzlies are, and that's the team from Memphis. And we've got a Philadelphia team here that...
A lot of Grizzlies in Memphis. A lot
of Grizzlies in Memphis. It's pretty grizzly out in a lot of places in the country right now. Anyway, the Grizzlies are missing a couple of key ingredients tonight. Jay Morant's still out. Steven Adams is now doubtful. I think that's one of the reasons why the line has gone up an extra point here. But you take a look at Philadelphia. They played back-to-back games, their last 2 games out against Utah and Golden State. In my mind, 2 of the best teams in the NBA. They lose to Utah, and they get that big win over Golden State. Now they're playing a team from Memphis. I think it'll be a little bit of a letdown here for Philadelphia. Memphis, even without the best players, they've been very good. The bench is playing very well. They've won 7 out of 8 games. You're catching them here at +3 against the Philadelphia team, who I just don't trust on a day-to-day basis. This is one team, Philadelphia, looks great sometimes. Sometimes they look terrible. And I'll take Memphis, a team that's playing very well right now, even without some of their key players. I like Memphis in this one as a 3-point home dog. If I'm taking a look at shot quality on the season, these 2 teams are rated very close. I know that's with Morant in the lineup, but still, I think there's some value here. And to be totally honest with you, out of the 3 games, this is the least favorite out of the 3 for myself today. So we'll go with the home dog here.
So I want to ask you this, Brian, because Memphis, when Morant got hurt, I'm like, this team's going to tank. Not tank, but I'm like, I made a significant downgrade in my power ratings. And I was dead wrong. All they've done is win games and cover point spreads since. I've got them at 7-1, straight up in their last 8. How are they doing it? I mean, it's a Grizzlies team that shouldn't be. That right now is, the team is better than the sum of the parts in many regards. Does that concern you here? Do you think they're going to come back to earth anytime soon, especially given the injury situation tonight, where Jaren Jackson Jr. might not play either?
Yeah, Steven Adams is also doubtful. Yeah, it'll eventually catch up to him, but I think the spot is pretty good for him right here. Jay Morant's been out so often in his young career that they know how to play without him. I would be more concerned where you've got a star player that is rarely out of the game and you're able to get the players come in and they don't know what they can do. Well, this team knows they can win without him on the court. So I think they come into this game pretty confident. And I think Philadelphia, after he played Utah and Golden State, I think they may have a little bit of a letdown here against a team without their best player. Give me Memphis plus the 3 at home.
Bryan Leonard, everyone. Guys, Bryan is 38-19 in his last, 57 5% plays. 38-19, 5% run. Just awesome stuff, Bryan. He's got a 5% CBB up now. Only $9. It's $9 Monday. What else do you have to promote?
That's all I've got for today. Over the last month, number 1 in the NHL, number 1 in college basketball. Those are the 2 sports that I've been releasing more plays in as of late because I'm seeing them well. Like a lot of guys on the show, I didn't do well yesterday. NFL hasn't been that great for me, but I did get that push in the Cincinnati total. But college basketball has been going great. 5% play going tonight, only $9.
Awesome stuff. Bryan Leonard, everyone. Teddy, it's time, baby. Let's go. Daily presidential address. All right, I got 3 free picks for you guys. 1 tonight in the Monday Night Football game, 1 in the NBA game, and I got an interesting conversation, if you will, on a futures NFL bet. Before we get into that, great show. Wager Talk Today, we had Marco D'Angelo and Bryan Leonard on. We did a deep dive into the Monday Night Football game. Teddy also had his big game breakdown. It's $9 Mondays over at Wager Talk. Every play only $9. I want to point out that I was 4-1 yesterday. I won my 5%. I also won on Thursday. I am 5-1 on the week in the NFL, and I have a play that in tonight's game. It's only $9. And I also have a 5% play up for week 15. It's also $9 until midnight tonight. Take advantage of that, please. 600 guys watching live right now. What a great show. Check it out. Wager Talk Today. Let's get into my free plays. Right off the bat, we're going with Tyler Higbee over 36.5 receiving yards. The bookmakers expect him to get roughly 4 catches tonight. That's about 8-9 yards per catch. I think that's totally doable. I prefer the over 36.5 to over 3.5 catches because of the juice. So take Tyler Higbee over 36.5 receiving yards. I like the Raptors under the total of 221 tonight. And now I want to make mention. I put out a 5% play at the beginning of the season on the Bills to win the division. Right now, there are 4 games left, and the Bills are plus 350 to win the division. At some books, you can get them higher at other books. I think that there's value on that bet, guys, and I'll tell you why. The Indianapolis Colts are favored against New England. I know I'm over. The Indianapolis Colts are favored against New England. Buffalo has New England still to go. If New England loses to Indy and loses to Buffalo Buffalo holds the tiebreaker on their division win-loss. I think that is doable. I think the bookmakers think it's doable. I think the plus 350 on the Bills and plus 700 to win the AFC Championship has decent value. That's it for me. Teddy Covers, you got your show starting in 15 minutes. I love you, bro, and I wish you the best week of wins you've ever had. I'm having a sub today. Take us home. Teddy has muted himself. No, still muted.
The NFL opening line report coming up
At
the top of the hour right here on this channel. I apologize for muting. That's going to wrap it for the Monday edition of Wager Talk today. I want to thank all of our guests. I want to thank all of our viewers. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games. And for God's sakes, have some good luck. Cheers.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, college football bowl season, baby. And there are 42 bowl and playoff games to keep us entertained for almost 3.5 weeks. Starting with Toledo versus Middle Tennessee State and going through the national championship on Monday, January 10th, pick your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo handicapper and get every college football bowl game day release, including any 5% best bets normally priced at $35 for the low price of $149. As an added bonus, make sure to download the free WagerTalk College Football Bowl Guide by going to wt.buzz/rm. From everyone at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, good luck this college football bowl season.